your feelings, people. The red hats.
Well, this is the thing about him, is that he's a very New Testament Christian. He's very compassionate, very loving, pretty accepting, one of those, like, if you're...
And how's he a MAGA guy?
You can do whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt me or my kids, kind of a thing.
Right.
But he believes in Donald Trump because of the economy. He's like, I've never made more money in my life than I made under him. Like, he's more Donald Trump for financial reasons.
Yeah, but Biden's economy is far and away better than Trump's.
My brother's a real estate agent. So it is not for him.
I see.
And also...
So it's about his economy, not Trump's economy.
Well, it's about how he was doing under that president.
Right.
And I also think that he likes that Trump had no filter. He's just like says whatever the hell he wants. And
a lot of people like that.
I don't understand why people think that's a good thing. I don't like that at all. It means you're not thoughtful. It means you don't think things through. It means you're usually pretty hateful, and I don't like people like that.
Well, I think it's less.
gross.
I think it's less about that and more about politicians with no filter, because people assume that everyone in politics is lying. Most of them are, but it's probably got more to do with that than anything else. Anyway, no rapture. If you're a rapture believer, you're like 0 for 6 million on the rapture. Hasn't happened. But listen, not to pull the curtain back too far. While we were at the ballpark yesterday, Bill, I did pay a guy to release 50 human-shaped helium balloons from my backyard during the eclipse.
Beautiful.
Because I have evangelical neighbors and I wanted to freak them out, and I think it worked.
Boy,
it worked.
The amount of evangelicals that are getting popped for pedophilia and things of that nature is really putting the Catholic Church to shame these days. It is a lot.
It's a race to the bottom.
Yeah, and also a lot more cops than you'd think too.
Cops, well,
yeah, they get popped a lot too.
So I play. It was certainly cost me a pretty penny, but it was well worth it to freak some neighbors out, and I hope that they have. I guess you shouldn't have blown your leaves into my yard, Margaret.
Yeah, take that.
Yeah,
idiot.
That's all I'm saying. So I went to get a haircut this morning.
I see.
Yeah.
Caved.
Well, I'm hosting this Playhouse Square show in a couple of weeks, and so I'm like, well, I should probably.
What's that?
I'm hosting the Phil Rosenthal show. That's coming
nice.
Through. Yeah. So
Phil eats food. What? Is
Feed Phil.
Phil, yeah.
Phil Rosenthal is the guy who created Everybody Loves Raymond with Ray Romano, and he's had a cooking travel show. He had one on PBS, and it's on Netflix now. It's called Feed Phil, and he's doing like a tour. He's doing a spoken word thing, and they hit me up and said, hey, we'd like you to host and moderate this thing, and so I'm going to do that. So if you're going to that, I'll see you there. It's April 25th over at Playhouse Square. And so, I've been growing my hair out, and I thought, well, maybe I clean myself up a little bit, and just so, so I don't look homeless, whatever. And then I always, always, always feel like I sold out, that I caved. I mean, I can grow it again. Yes, because it's
You're
like
50.
What do you mean? What's that got to do with anything?
He's over
Then
50.
how do you sell out?
Because I'm a long hair guy.
Grown-ass man.
I'm a long hair guy. Always have been.
Into middle age.
You were a long hair guy.
Coming into middle age. You're so sweet. I've been in middle age for a good decade now.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Is like, how could you possibly be selling out?
I mean, in
by
the
cutting your hair?
lower case. Because I'm a long hair guy.
You were a long hair guy.
Well, in my heart, I always am. That's why I grew it back out. So I'm coming around the corner this morning, coming to work, and I see this homeless guy, and I was jealous of that guy. It's like, God, what the, again, I didn't shave my head or anything, but.
My hair's getting pretty long. It's almost covering my ears.
Yeah,
as long as I've ever had it. I've never had it this long.
I am not
before.
a fan of long hair on guys. Like, really.
Well,
not.
fortunately, you and I aren't dating, Mary.
I understand.
I'm not
but
trying to
I think-
impress you.
I'm just saying, I think everybody looks better a little bit more clean cut. When
I
your
don't think
hair's a little
everybody
shorter.
looks better in one way of anything.
Right.
To
Also,
me. I'm saying
the
to me.
taste that you have is just so bad. When you
What are
were
you
at
talking
Fall Out
about?
Boy.
You talking to her or me?
For her. When
Oh.
she was like out at Fall Out Boy and she's like, I don't like Jimmy Eat World. I can't with you. I
Jimmy
just
Eat
can't.
World is probably one of the worst bands I've ever heard.
I
of.
will say this,
was not
Jimmy
a good
Eat
show.
World,
I
they
love
are a
Jimmy Eat World.
very hot and cold band. I like them
They were
too, but
bad.
I've seen them one time where they were great, and I've seen them where they were awful. So
I'm not talking about them live. I'm talking about just Jimmy Eat World.
Well,
is
she
a,
saw
is
him
a
live.
great band. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
here's the thing.
yeah.
Jimmy Eat World opened for Fall Out Boy. And I know The Middle. That's the only song by them that I know.
Oh, you don't know
And-
Sweetness?
Well, I didn't recognize much of anything
Bleed
else.
American?
Yeah.
Bleed American's a great song.
I'm listening to it like, whose favorite band is this? This music.
Tom
it all sounds
DeLonge's.
the same.
It's Tom DeLonge's
20
favorite
years
band. He
ago,
paid
it
him
was
to-
a lot of girls your age, and they loved Jimmy Eat World.
I mean, and everybody's probably going to say the same things about what I'm about to say about Fall Out Boy. Like, to me, every Jimmy Eat World song, except The Middle, sounded identical. It was all the same cadence. It all seemed to have the same 10 or 12 words. And they didn't perform great. Like, the guy just kind of stood there. The lead singer just stood there. And the other guys were just
Who's that, Jim
playing
Adkins?
music.
He the main guy?
I don't know the name.
I
don't
think
know.
that Jimmy Eat World has been off the radar for a minute, so maybe they're shaking off some rust. Because I don't think they've been out there for a minute.
I would never, ever, ever pay to go see them by themselves.
Wow.
I
All
can
right.
say that with full, like, I wouldn't regret saying that for one second.
Hit me with some Bleed American.
I was going to play Praise Chorus for you.
Oh, Praise Chorus is
Yeah.
great too.
I don't like this.
This sounds like
Hollister.
400 other bands you would like.
No, it doesn't. This is Hollister music. This is the music when you
So
would
it's
walk
Fall
to
Out Boy.
Hollister. No, it is not.
Oh, come
In the
on.
early 2000s, and everybody's like trying to be so cool.
Why do you think
and,
they're
like,
on
we're
tour with Fall Out Boy? It's the same crowd.
It is not.
These guys are
It
from
is
Phoenix.
not. And I can tell you it's not
Huh?
because not even, I would say not even a fifth of the audience was into Jimmy Eat World the way that they were into Fall Out Boy. And I get it, Fall Out Boy's the headliner, but they did not rock out by any means. There were a couple of diehards really singing every word, and then everyone else was pretty indifferent to Jimmy Eat World.
Well, they're not nearly as popular a band, so that's a big part of it.
But they're not an unpopular
but
band. I mean,
yeah, I'm a
they
big
had a bunch
fan
of hits.
Jim-
boy.
I'm a big fan of Jimmy.
I like.
Eat World.
I wouldn't call myself a big fan, but anytime I hear them, I'm not unhappy. I like them.
And with
I
that
don't
Bleed
like it at
American,
all.
that's
Let me find Bleed American.
I bet it's going to sound like exactly what you already
Don't-
have.
no. That's
Hey,
it's
no,
one of their harder
it's
songs.
not in here. I
What?
didn't have Bleed American though. It's a good song though.
See, you guys talk about that the same way I talk about country music, and it's no.
No,
absolutely
but
not.
all I'm saying is there's a reason they're on tour with Fall Out Boy.
I think Fall Out Boy felt bad for them that they've been around for 40
No,
years.
it's
and-
not the first time those two bands have
even
toured,
open
is
up.
what I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
What do you mean?
What
they
are
can,
you
they,
just
they can do a
saying?
headlining tour. They do.
Can they?
Yeah.
Why are they opening then?
Because it pays good.
Yeah,
I
you're
would
gonna see a lot of
think
people.
They would draw well. They could not do a stadium headlining tour. I
No,
really
but
don't believe
you
that.
weren't in a stadium. You were in an arena.
Well,
Arena
guess what? With all due
wedding,
respect,
arena.
neither can the Black Keys, but that doesn't stop them from doing arenas.
And I don't care how many people like a band. I don't care
Yeah, right.
if I like a band. I'm not one of
But
these
just because
bandwagon
you-
people that I go and go, oh, look at all the. No, I don't care if there's 10 people at the show. I'm going to have a good time because I like the band.
What I'm
But
saying
that's not
is,
the point that you're making. Just because you like them does not mean that they are capable of headlining a stadium tour.
They can't. I didn't say they could, but they can do. They have done headlining tours
They could probably
in mid-level
headline
venues like
a
Agora and stuff
500
like that.
seat
no,
place.
they
listen,
can do
listen.
2,000 seats, no
I don't
problem.
believe that.
I've seen Jimmy Eat World play big venues. Here's what I'm saying. Most bands are not doing stadiums.
I meant to say arenas.
Oh,
Fall Out Boy
arenas.
is
Well, that's
doing
completely
arenas.
And
different.
most
Yeah.
I've
bands
seen-
aren't doing
arenas.
arenas either.
Yeah, Jimmy Eat World, I've seen them on big shows.
And I don't care if a band can do it. I actually would rather go see a band at House of Blues or the Agora in a smaller venue than an arena show.
You're so annoying.
Why is that
Because
annoying,
it's a
though?
better venue for music.
Because you're like, this is the best band ever. Everything's great. Everybody should love them. I can't believe you don't like them. You know what? I don't care that you don't like them. Like, pick them.
No, I didn't say I don't. No, I know you don't like them because you don't like good music. So it's not
That's not
like
true at all.
It's pretty true.
But
It's
people,
very true.
no, I'm genuinely curious, and it sounds more like it was performance based. But just thinking about all the scene kids 20 years ago, they were all listening to those same bands. They were listening to Jimmy Eat World, and they were
I
listening to
think
Fall Out
Jimmy
Boy, and
Eat
they were
World
listening.
is older than that. 20 years ago was Fall Out Boy. I feel like Jimmy Eat World was
Jimmy
30
Eat
plus
World.
years ago.
Jimmy
This
Eat
song-
World only predates Fall Out Boy by maybe 6 or 7 years.
I don't know if
not
it's
even
that
a full
many.
decade.
Yeah.
Like mid late 90s maybe.
And when they got their biggest hits, it was maybe 2 or 3 years before Fall Out Boy started hitting.
Well, I
Was
know
there
one
a
of their
third band?
songs-
Was there at least a third band on the lineup that you enjoyed, or no?
Car?
Car.
Does that sound right? CARR?
Oh yeah, they came
Axe?
through. Yeah.
Car?
They opened for somebody else a while back that we gave away
we
tickets
missed
to.
them. But We were standing in the merch line during that set.
Car is just a girl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one, I think it's a girl in a band or maybe just one girl. I don't know, but they thanked her at the beginning. So, yes, Car was the opener.
Right.
Opener.
But again, those crowds are going to be 40-year-olds, right? For those bands, the former scene kids are all grown up. Huh?
Mid-30s. I'd say there were actually, because Fall Out Boy released an album not too long ago, so there were some younger kids there, and it was just blatant the new versus old crowd, because when they're playing their hits and people are screaming and it's loud, and then there would be like deep cuts. That one of my favorite songs is called Hum Hallelujah, and that's not one of their like top songs.
I think Jimmy Eat World formed in 93. I think Jimmy Eat World always seemed like an older band.
Yes. Well, and they've
Fall Out Boy was
they've never been a mainstream band by any means.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that like you could tell the age difference, because the people who were singing along to Fall Out Boy's new album, the songs that I had never heard before, were 25 and under.
Yeah. Well, because Fall Out Boy goes back into that. They were more like a, I don't know, Hello Kitty, but all their song titles or puns, and
not.
Yes, they were.
No,
they were way.
To them.
Huh?
It wasn't Hello Kitty. I mean, it wasn't even.
They're a hometown band. Fall Out Boy was kicking around Chicago, begging people to pay attention to them before they blew up. Jimmy Eat World.
That's what most bands do.
Jimmy Eat World. They've had a lot of hits. All I'm saying is, Jimmy Eat World is a mainstream band. They're on the radio. MMS plays Jimmy Eat World, right? They're not an underground band.
They have one popular song.
No, they have a bunch of hits.
No, I don't.
Sweetness, Hear You Hear Me, Praise Chorus, Pain, Bleed American. These were all radio hits for them.
Prince played the middle, which is cool.
Number one.
What's what?
Prince played the middle, and there's a bootleg of Prince playing the middle. That's like one of the, and there's a video of one of the guys from Jimmy Eat World reacting to it, and it's pretty awesome.
Anyway, I'm not even arguing anything. I was kind of I was curious at the vibe at that show. This was it was at Jones Beach. Where was this?
No, this was in Columbus.
Oh, in Columbus. Okay.
Columbus, Ohio. I flew back to go just for one night. I flew home, drove to Columbus with my friend, saw the show, drove back up, and then me, Brian, and Blake flew out to New York the very next morning. It was great. I mean, it's very much me. Think of my generation. It is 28 to, well, not even, probably 30 to 40-year-old women were the main demographic at this show. And there's some guys and stuff like that, too. There were a couple older, and then there was I'd say maybe a quarter of the audience was under 28, and they like the new stuff. But they kill it, dude. They are so good.
Listen, there's people who are some bands are just gonna hit people at the right time, right? Every kid goes to college, discovers Pink Floyd or Radiohead or whatever it is, right? There's some bands that just resonate with people, and certain bands from that genre still do. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, but I have seen over the course of the last 25 years, I have seen Jimmy Eat World do a great show and do a terrible show.
This wasn't a good one.
It's like, to me, a band, it's like a restaurant. You go, well, I got him on a bad night. I don't know. Maybe the guy was sick. Maybe he wasn't, you pays your money and you takes your chances.
Patrick Stump was sick and told us, and it was still a better performance. Like, he was like, I am very sick. Like, I'm on so many cold medicines right now. I'm sorry if I sound crappy. I could have canceled the show, but I'm not going to. So even a sick Patrick Stump put on a better show than a healthy, whoever the hell the lead singer is of Jimmy Eat World.
Well, I mean, like I said, you like your music, and we will never see eye to eye on the music that we like, because you really like a lot of different stuff.
Kind of sounds the same too, though.
I didn't say it doesn't. I know what I like, and I know what you like, and we like very different stuff.
There have to be bands that the two of you like.
Probably not.
Because even in the genres that we like, she likes different stuff than. I think the closest would probably be My Chemical Romance.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Because I like some of their stuff. But
oh boy.
No, listen. I mean, it's fine. I figure there has to be some common ground between the two of you.
Oh, you know what was really cool at the Fall Out Boy show that I loved? They did this because it's kind of in different parts, right? And in the one part, they said they played this voiceover that was like the sound of a mom calling on like a voicemail. And at the end, they say, just remember 20 years ago, you left a light on in Chicago, which is like a line from one of their very early hits. And then they brought stage lights physically down, so it looked like they were playing in a club. So like they blacked out the rest of the stage, put the lights maybe 2 feet above their head, and it felt like you were in like a tiny little music venue. And then they played like 6 back-to-back-to-back songs, all from their first album, and that was awesome. That was probably my favorite part of the entire show. Felt really cool. I've never seen anybody else do that. Where like brought it down to like a hey, here's where we came from vibe. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I saw you two do that.
I didn't bring this up.
You didn't? What happened?
I'm saying I was talking about how I like short hair on guys, and Bill attacked me for liking Fall Out Boy. Or not liking Jimmy.
Because they have long hair, Mary, Pete Wentz,
well,
whatever the hell
was saying,
he's doing.
your opinions are invalid to me because of all the opinions you have. I disagree with on so many levels.
Even men's hair.
Uh-huh. But you both like My Chemical Romance.
Yes.
She likes it a lot more than I do. Aw, don't do that. No, it's sad.
Somebody told me they ran into a pound cake in front of Barrio yesterday, all dressed up. Imagine your first day at your new job is Eclipse Day.
Yeah, right?
God, right? You're dressed up. I love it. Alan, could you please have Mary explain Jelly Roll? I don't get it, or him. Well, he's country
Jelly
Post
Roll?
Malone, right? I mean, yeah, a lot of people don't get Jelly Roll.
I feel like if you hear his voice, you should be able to get it. The dude's got a killer voice. He's
Yeah.
like a powerhouse. I don't know how much more there is to explain. I mean, he's a big fat. He's not attractive, and he's
Got a hot wife though, boy. These bumpkins, God bless them.
He's
You know, they get a little bit of success or whatever, and they end up with a hot wife. A lot of times, it's like the girl that stood by them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because they've been
My
together
wife
for a
believed in
while.
me before anybody else did.
Well, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, I love
Good for
Jelly
him.
Roll. From all accounts, I have a friend.
I'll give you Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll's all right.
I only know that one song.
I know that one song, and it's fine. It's a good song. I don't go deep with him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's much not to get. He's got an incredible voice. He's not really. I've never seen him live, but I can't imagine he's doing much running around. So I can't speak to his
You don't think you're saying his
performance.
calisthenics might be not on point? All right.
Yeah.
He's going to be the next dude to get skinny.
His whole
Yeah.
thing is being a big fat dude.
Everybody does that until they break out, and then they go, "Hey, man,
Hey,
you want to
Lizzo's
keep
still fat.
You want to keep this going? You got to take better care of yourself." You know,
Yeah.
why do you think Lizzo gets off social media every 9 months? Because she's like, I don't need people giving me a hard time about whatever. If you don't like my music, you don't like me, go away, right? Because she's not hitting the gym. She's like, I'm gonna do me and whatever.
It's diet. It's not gym.
I think she's a vegetarian.
Ugh.
I might be making that up.
Well,
but
good-
I feel like I've seen that on her Instagram.
Good for her, whatever she's doing. But Jelly Roll, at some point, this is a guy who's like, God, I wish I didn't get all these face tattoos.
I don't think he cares.
No, he said that. God, I
Oh,
wish I
did he
didn't get all
really?
these face tattoos. Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm like, no, man, this is your moment. This is the face tattoo era, right? A couple years, it's going to be super passé, but you still got some time on that. So I say strike while the iron's hot.
Which
people
one
are-
are you getting?
I'm sorry?
What face tattoo are you getting?
Oh, I'm not at liberty to divulge that.
Helen,
I'm sorry.
is it a new endorsement?
Sure is. Yeah. No, I'll tell you before I get it. It will be over each of my earlobes. Is that the face?
Are you tattooing?
I never really looked at his
diamond?
face tattoos. These are really bad.
Jelly Roll? Yeah, that's why he's like, you only have one face.